Hey, hey.
Hey, we're back. Let's go. Monday. Suck. There you go. How
Today's Monday. Babylon
you heard the
Fantasy
good trade
Football.
after that
Sorry, I just wanted to say that, Ryan. I
turned
didn't mean
out
to
well
cut you
for
off.
you. Yeah. No, you're good. You should. Yeah. Babylon Fantasy Football's back and Charlie's fantasy football team in our main league is also back, but unfortunately his team in our guillotine league is not back anymore. But that's how fantasy football rolls a little bit. You want to talk about your Sunday fantasy wise, Charlie?
Yeah, overall, it was pretty good. I wasn't one of those that had Puka or Igbuka or any of the other big injuries, so I felt pretty fortunate there. Yeah, like Ryan said, my team finally played well in our main league, so hopefully that continues to keep up. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people were disappointed this week. I feel like there are a lot of duds. Ryan mentioned our guillotine league. I am getting cut that I just had a lot of duds. Unfortunately, Justin Fields, Mason Taylor combining for 5 points were the main reason why that happened. And then Juwan Jennings also. So just very unfortunate, but it is what it is. Only one person can win that league. So yeah. What
Yeah.
about you, Ryan? You have a good Sunday?
Sorry to hear about your guillotine league, Charlie, or our guillotine league, and you're getting cut, but that's just what happens sometimes. Yeah, it's overall pretty good aside from our league where me and Nate have the matchup of the century right now. I think he has 53 points and I have like 43 points. I do have James Cook tonight, but I think he has Jaden Daniels, and I also have we also have I think DeAndre Swift tonight, but or DJ Moore. So I probably will not win. I projected 80 points, and he's projected like 89 points. So like Charlie was mentioning, there's been some duds so far this week. I know Debo Samuel was, I think he's still game time decision, so it was obviously tough. Really knowing, obviously, don't think he's going to play at all and stuff, which was a little bit unfortunate. So I had to put Juwan Jennings in that league as well. And as Charlie mentioned earlier, he did not do super well. But in another league, I was able to slot Hollywood Brown in for Debo Samuel, and he obviously had 2 touchdowns last night and performed well. So that was a good one. But I mean, yeah, like Charlie already mentioned, there's injuries out here too, as well as duds. So he mentioned Puka Nakua, Igbuka also got hurt. Marvin Harrison had a concussion. Jawan Jennings also ended up getting injured as well during that game. Garrett Wilson had a little of a bit of a hip issue, but it did not seem to matter anyways because Fields was not throwing the ball. They had negative 10 passing yards as a whole. Um, and then Njoku, I feel like is another big name to mention that got hurt over this weekend and also next week too. Just buys real quick before we get into some people you could pick up. The Ravens and the Bills, they're both on bye next week. So, well, I mean, I know a lot of people have Josh Allen and James Cook, and then obviously Derrick Henry, even though he's been falling off quite a bit. So, but it gives a week back for Lamar to get healthy, which unfortunately will come right in time for them to play us too. But, anyways, or the Vikings. So those are some of the main injuries. I don't know if you had anything else to mention, or if I missed somebody there, or if you want to just get right into some of the waiver guys here, Chuck.
Yeah, we can get into some of the waivers. I think the rest of the injuries people know about already just because they missed like beforehand. There were some surprising ones like late Saturday night Kyler Murray and Quentin Johnston also
Yep.
got ruled out like right before too. So sure you guys pivoted, what kind of sucks. Yeah, we'll give you some names here. I think we should start with quarterback because we mentioned the two bye weeks. Those are huge quarterbacks. So a lot of times you aren't rostering another quarterback. Obviously, with Lamar, he's been hurt, so you probably do have an okay option already. But streamable guys we're looking at for this upcoming week. I'm just trying to figure out who would still be available. I mean, if somehow Drake May was out there, I would
Yep.
really like to pick him up. Otherwise, I'm trying to pull up the week 7 schedule, Ryan. Are there any that pop out to you right away?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, somehow if Drake May is out there, he's been consistent. He's been good. I mean, Sam Darnold as well. I think he's still another big one. They do play Houston this upcoming week, so that could be a little bit of a tough defense to go against, but he's been performing still like pretty decent. Mac Jones has been putting up some points, but those are some lower ones. So yeah, I'd say Drake May is number one, and then Sam Darnold, probably put number two if you need. And then there's lower guys too that are obviously somewhat streamable. I know Jackson Dart's been he performed really well on Thursday night, so and he's available in most leagues. They do play Denver, so pretty solid defense.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if
you
you
were
like the
talking.
hype around him and you think continue, so
Oh no, I didn't mean to interrupt. But yeah, Jackson Dart's got that rushing
no,
floor. I did pull up some of the matchups though. Daniel Jones could still be out there.
yep.
He gets to play the Chargers. I like him a lot. Aaron Rodgers has been okay, and he gets to play the Bengals, who have been very bad this year. So I think he's streamable this coming week as well. So those are, and Matthew Stafford, he was my start of the week. He didn't do too great. Obviously, he'll be without Puka, but the Jaguars are an okay matchup for him there as well. So
Yeah, no, those are good points. Rodgers too has been pretty decent, and that Cincinnati defense is struggling mightily. So that was a good call out there to put him up there.
yeah.
Um,
If you want to rank those guys, I guess I think we would both probably have May and Daniel Jones as like the top ones.
yep.
After that, would you rather have Stafford or Rodgers this week as a streamable guy?
I think just with the injury to Puka, I honestly probably would go with Rodgers. But they're close. I think interchangeable. How about you?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think Stafford's not as good without all of his weapons there, and Rodgers can have some okay weeks.
Yeah. And then yeah, like we talked about too, if you do need that running opportunity, Jackson Dart is out there. But I would probably say put those other three, maybe even four QBs ahead of him, just matchup wise. So he's still a rookie. So
Agreed. Agreed. All right. Running backs. I think there's not a ton of names. I mean, kind of rehashing the names that we've talked about in the past, but do you have a top guy that you're looking at this week, Ryan?
yeah, like Charlie was saying, probably rehashing a lot of the names, and it's still a little bit, um, up and down. Who really is that number one guy still at the Chargers? I know Vidal had a good week last week with 21 touches and 138 scrimmage yards and his touchdown, which maybe would put him number one. But you really never know with the Chargers either, and they still do have Haskins. So I would say he's probably number one guy. Um, and then I don't know if like Bam Knight's obviously he's out there too. Probably mostly he had 51% of the snaps last week, and I did end up getting a touchdown on the wall. A lot of people was obviously even with they thinking Michael Carter was getting everything. So um, yeah, I wouldn't really put a other than that, not much. Even those two as well, I'm not like high on either. If like you really need something with James Cook and Derrick Henry being out, um, running backs, there's not a lot out there. You got another, Charlie?
No, those were the two big ones. Yeah, Vidal really showed that he's their true number one guy, but I mean, I think you're still going to be disappointed. They just had such a great matchup too that you aren't going to be able to expect that out of them every week. You mentioned Bam Knight. I think he might have gotten hurt towards the end of the
Correct.
game, which is
Mm,
just makes that even more frustrating. And it's now also been 2 weeks since Trey Benson's been hurt, so you're going to get less and less weeks with him. Same with Vidal.
yep.
They have a bye coming up too. They said that Hampton shouldn't miss more than 4 weeks. Some other names that we've already mentioned in the past, Kendry Miller. He's getting just as many touches as Alvin Kamara. The trade deadline is only like 3 weeks away, so just maybe hold on and see if Kamara gets traded somewhere, because then I think he could be a very good back after that. And then one other one, Tajay Spears. He's getting more and more involved coming off of that injury, and I think he looks more explosive than Tony Pollard a lot of the times when he does have the ball. So yeah, just a
Yep.
couple other deeper names.
I agree. And then also too, Brian Callahan got fired, so you never really know what could switch up with the Titans offense there, especially with Tony Pollard struggling beforehand. So Ty Spears is a good one. Um, but yeah, we'll see. And yeah, Kendrick Miller too. Like he has actually had good production and favorable matchup next week against Chicago too for them for once. So I like that. And then yeah, I don't believe any more leagues have Rico Dotto still on waivers. It'd be insane if they do. But pick him up. He's had some crazy weeks and a good start of the week, and we'll talk about that later this upcoming Friday. But that was a good start of the week by me, and Charlie had a great start of the week on his end, both Panthers players last week. So
Yeah, that was
um,
huge.
those are good. But yeah, that's kind of it for running backs. A little bit more on the wide receiver front that are long term. So
Yeah, you kind of cut out there, but I think you were jumping over to wide receivers. Kendrick Bourne, they said
I
Juwan
was.
Jen. Wait, what? I'm sorry. What's going on
I
there?
was saying, sorry, yeah, no, I was talking about wide receivers, yes, and I know it's a lot more long term or potential just like injuries wide receiver wise. So I was wondering what wide receivers you were thinking about on the waivers. So that was it. That was it.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne, back-to-back weeks of playing very good, 143 yards in back-to-back weeks. And the
Mhm.
fact that Juwan Jennings, they said he's playing through five broken ribs and like in little ankle sprain as well. They're like, yeah, I mean, he's still going to tough it out, but he's obviously not going to be as good. And just the fact that we don't know when Ayuk is going to be back still. So I think he's worth a pickup, and I think he'll be good at least until Ayuk gets back. Obviously, Kittle could be back this week, but I think he'll still be productive. I mean, there are other guys I do want to hear your thoughts on. I think you just got to monitor the injuries, on how severe they are, on whether or not you'd be willing to spend up on some of these other guys. But do you have any other names that like popped into your head?
Well, yeah, I mean, Kendrick Bourne is the main one. 143 back to back weeks, really good. I will say honestly, Kayshon Boutte's been doing. He's a in deeper leagues that Patriots receiver he's put up. I think he has last week he obviously had two touchdowns, and then he had a touchdown I think earlier in the year, maybe even two in back to back games. Yards wise, he doesn't really have a lot, but Drake May does kind of like throwing to him as we saw last week, and they have a favorable matchup at the next week. So look for him maybe to continue to do well. And we'll talk about Fob obviously at the end, but pulling lower on him. It does say right here about Hollywood Brown is rostered 43% of leagues, so definitely worth the pickup, especially. Yeah, that's what he's rostered in, and worth the pickup, especially if you do have like another kind of in a way like mid receiver like Shakir or something like that that's going to be on bye next week, or any of those Ravens guys too. And then I think that other big topic, maybe wide receiver wise, is that Buccaneers wide receiver group. I know Baker can obviously throw to anybody. Uh, there's a chance that one of their three starters are back. Um, who knows for sure? But there is Sterling Shepard, Tez Johnson, and Cam Johnson all out there probably on waivers, or they definitely are. Tez Johnson, obviously, he just had a touchdown on one catch, though, so not like amazing. Cameron Johnson had four targets and 64 yards and a touchdown last week, but I think Sterling Shepard probably would be maybe the one to look at if you're gonna pick up a Bucks receiver waiver wise this week. But also just keep an eye on if Egbuka or Godwin or Mike Evans will be back. So
Yeah, I like those names as well. That's I was kind of mentioning. You don't know how long those guys are going to be out, or like you said, if Mike Evans is going to be back. But I do agree with you. I'd go Shepard first. It's kind of cool. Tez Johnson thought the MVP chance, when he scored were for him, but they were for Baker. I thought that was pretty funny. But you mentioned Booty. I don't know how great I feel about that situation. just because it seems like every
Yeah,
week there's a different receiver that's going off in that offense. Like last week it was Diggs. I mean, Booty's gotten a couple of weeks where he's done good, and then Demario Douglas too, like goes off every once in a while too. So I feel
yeah,
like it's going to be sporadic, but if you need like a shot on one of these New England Patriot wide receivers, I think you could take a shot on any of them. And then other injury, Puka. Jordan Whittington's shown in the past he's been serviceable, so he could be a guy if you wanted to pick up that he'll get some targets. He already saw 4 targets after Puka got hurt yesterday, so he's worth a look as well. Probably not a ton of fab on these type of guys, and then after that, it's just the guys we keep mentioning over and over again. Romeo Dobbs, Trey Tucker, Darius Slayton, people like that.
yeah. Even Wandale Robinson did well on Thursday night too. So but we never really know how that's going to end up going. I know he's on some waivers. Yeah, if Romeo Dobbs is out there, get him. So
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we haven't seen the Monday night games yet, but there's a chance Luther Burden picks it up and does well tonight. So if you're listening to this after the fact and he has a big week, you never know. They're out of the bye week. They have talked about trading DJ Moore. He could be worth a pickup as well for later on if he has a good night this Monday night after you're listening on Tuesday morning.
hmm
All
yeah,
right, tight
no,
ends.
the Bears receivers they could it'd be something if DJ Moore gets traded, and obviously that'll help out Luther Burden a lot. And we already have seen the flashes of their other guy that I'm just going blank on right now. But anyways, the other Bears receivers is doing too well. So
You
uh,
talking about Rome?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
Roman.
Rome. Yeah, he's been a beast.
Yeah, see, we blank sometimes on players too. Sorry about that, but
No, it's all good. I did that last week. I don't even remember who we were talking about.
Malik
Oh, it
neighbors,
was, yeah,
neighbors.
Malik Neighbors. I was like, yeah, he's a next
But,
year problem. Not this.
you got some tight ends here, Chuck. You want to talk
Uh,
about?
this the same guys we keep mentioning, and then the one that you turned away last week that I mentioned, but I like him even more with the more injuries that are popping up. Kate Otten. They got to
Mhm.
throw to someone in that Tampa Bay offense, and he saw another 6 targets this last week. So I think he's my number one tight end. What about you?
Yeah, I would say Kate Otten is now with even more injuries coming and realizing targets are going to be toward him. I did throw him away last week, and he was only, I mean, he's 12% rostered out there. He had 5 catches last week, 4 catches the week before that. Like Charlie was just saying, you could definitely just get him and maybe stash him if you need. I will say Harold Fannon's out there too. We've talked about him beforehand, but now with Njoku's injury, look for him to maybe have some more production too. Um, so that's kind of the big ones. And if you really need to go deep into the bag, obviously we don't know exactly when Kittle's coming back, but Jake Tondres, he is getting some catches. Him and McCaffrey kind of line up on the other side of each other. And then Taysom Hill did have a touchdown last week too.
That was the last name I was going to mention was Taysom Hill. You never know; they could start giving him more carries and stuff. So
Yeah, they have a weird offense, but he'll get in the end zone maybe.
yeah,
And if he does, he'll get into the end zone a few times.
yep, yep. You got to monitor these injuries. We don't know the severity of
Right.
them yet, like Igbuka and Puka, and then hopefully we get some of these guys back. I know a lot of people have been waiting on CD to get back.
True.
They've been waiting on Kittle. I've been waiting on Kittle in like all my leagues, and then yeah, Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is a big one.
Hopefully
Yep.
he gets back as well.
Yeah.
Defensive matchups for this coming week. Let's take a look here. I'd say some of my top ones are the Patriots. We get to play Tennessee Titans. Pittsburgh gets to play Cincinnati. Seattle gets to play Houston, and Cleveland gets to play Miami. So I think those are 4 good matchups.
Yep. I like that. I mean, we'll see too how the Bears do tonight, but they do play New Orleans next week too. But New Orleans offense has not been horrible recently. So
Yeah.
those are all good points. All right, talk about some fob. Probably not much fob here on quarterbacks unless you are thinking you would put some money down or no.
Say you got a bye week, you got
Yeah.
Lamar or Josh Allen, and you really need like a guy, and you know someone else might be going for a quarterback pickup. I'd be willing to spend like 5 on like
Drake.
a better pickup. Yeah, especially Drake May. I'd be willing to spend more if he's really out there.
Yeah, if he's really out there. Yeah, no, I'd say yeah, Drake maybe like you said, 5 or 10. Sam Darnold, maybe like $2 or $3, and Rodgers if you really need, or something like $1 or $2. Just so you can get them based on waiver standings. So
I agree. Running
good
backs
call.
here.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, I think Vidal, if he's still out there, I know one of my leagues, somebody spent like he spent 50% of his fob last week. Ended up working out, obviously last weekend on it, and who knows, maybe in the future it will too. But like we were saying, with never really knowing when Hampton will come back and they have bye weeks and stuff like that, I'd probably cap it at like 25% for Vidal, or maybe 20. Actually, probably like 20% for Vidal. So like we said last week, he did look like number one, and maybe he will be again. So they do play the Colts too. Let up quite a few points to the Cardinals last week. So I'd probably cap it at 20. Do you have any other inputs on that, Charlie?
nope, 20 is a good amount.
So
Yeah, easier matchup last week. I don't think it'll be as good going forward. Bam Knight, another guy, probably. Again, we mentioned it's been 2 weeks since the Trey Benson injury, and I do expect him to take over as a starter. There's three guys involved here. I wouldn't go more than 10 on Bam Knight.
that's my thought too. Like somewhere between 5 and 10 for Bam Knight if you're really needing a running back. So,
Yeah,
and
some of
honestly,
these
probably
others.
the rest of the guys that wouldn't be putting much on there unless, like I said, somehow Rico Dotto's down, like on your waivers, maybe even worth 50 or something, or
Yeah,
45.
or all your fab,
Or all
honestly.
your fab, honestly, at this point. Yeah, he looks like that guy. He looks like that guy. So, and he will be that guy, I think, too.
And we keep mentioning this too. One last thing on the running backs. There's been so many injuries this year. More are going to happen. So if you
Yeah.
have a top back, go pick up their backup. It's worth
Mhm.
it having them on your bench rather than having to drop all your fab on the backup in the future.
Yep. I definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. P. Ryan's one of those guys. Ollie Gordon's one of those guys. There's a lot of them out there. So,
P. Ryan? That's the
P.
name.
Ryan. P. Ryan.
Chase Brown isn't even doing anything.
No, like Ray Davis, a lot of other people, Caleb Johnson, Sean Tucker, a lot of people. Well, obviously, that'd be if Rashad White gets hurt too. Who's also been putting up some good points too. So if Rashad White is on your waivers, which I assume he probably won't be, really, I would put a decent amount on him too, just like Rico Dowdle. So
I'd be more so like the guys like uh Tajay Spears, Tyler Algier, Blake Corum, and then I'm
yeah,
blanking on the even the Cowboys backup right now. The rookie, like
Jadon
Jake
Blue,
Blue.
Jadon Blue,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think he's worth a pickup because Javante's been doing so well there. You never know. He'd be a top pickup if Javante went down.
that's true. Those are good inputs. Grab them, get that hold on the backup. So receiver wise, what you looking at for Kendrick Bourne, Chuck?
He's the only one I'm interested in. Like I said, that injury to Juwan, you never know.
Yeah,
Um, I don't think people are going to spend that much on him, but I think he is worth more than people are saying. I'd be willing to go like 20 to 25 on him.
yeah, I think 20 is that number. 25, yeah, not bad either. That'll probably be a guarantee getting him, I would say. Just with everybody going to be coming back at some point, but you see that Kendrick Bourne has that production, and it's probably here to stay. So he is a good player. He definitely be the most out of the receivers for sure too. So like we were saying earlier, honestly, I think Booty might be maybe $5 at most, and then the other ones that we're talking about, any of those Bucks receivers, probably 0 to 5. So on Fob. And obviously, if Romeo Dobbs is still out there, I'd get him as well for like another 20 or 15. That's kind of, and Luther Burden maybe it'd be about 10, maybe
Yeah.
5, maybe not 10, maybe like 5 to 10, I would say, on Luther Burden because he'd be worth a little bit more, especially like you said, if DJ Moore gets traded. So
Yeah. Yeah, we're in agreement.
once,
I think that's all I had for waivers. I did want to mention some of the top performers this year, like Rico Dowdle, just one that is eye-popping. And then the fact that Patrick Mahomes is right now the quarterback one overall again, after people kind of wrote him off for a few years was kind of crazy.
yeah.
But Yeah, you never know. Things can change, but go trade for guys you believe in and yeah, ask us questions.
Hmm. We'll take them, and yeah, obviously trade for those guys you think are going to do well in the future, or trade away those guys you think aren't going to do super well. Obviously, Josh Jacobs did super well in the future, like he did yesterday. Chuck got him. AJ Brown also didn't do too bad though either. So sometimes you could have even trades, especially PPR wise. So
I agree. I think that's all we had, but yeah, maybe we'll answer some questions for you on our next episode and maybe give you some trade away and trade for guys for the future and have some updates on those injuries.
yes, sir, we will. All right. Thank you, Chuck, and thank you everybody for listening. Come to us with any questions. And here's the waiver wire episode for week 7. Good
Week
luck.
7. Let's go. Thanks for listening. All right. See you, Ren.